this episode of Running Wild Costa Rica, watch as we come face to face with crocodiles, monkeys, one of the rarest birds in the world, and dine on the local delicacies. The adventure through Costa Rica continues right here on Running Wild. As we continue our adventure through Costa Rica, I meet up with an animal rehabilitation center and public aquarium. This facility sees and treats marine animals from all over Costa Rica and even from Nicaragua and Panama. The marine park is one of a kind in Central America. The educational role of this facility is priceless because many local schools and fishing groups come through here to learn to connect with and respect the ocean. We're here paying a visit to El Parque Marino del Pacifico, and this place is amazing. It's a wildlife rehabilitation center, public aquarium, marine education center, and an aquaculture facility. Now we're on our way to meet Angel, the aquarium director, to learn much more about this amazing place. Hola.
Hola Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
This is Angel, the aquarium director. So tell us a little about the history about this place.
Okay, thank you. We start the Parque Marino del Pacifico, we start 2002. We are trying to improve our performance in relation with our national environmental policy and these kind of things.
Okay, so what kind of programs specifically do you have going on here?
Well, the main programs actually we have, well, the first one is related with Marine Animal Rescue Center. And so we are receiving many animals coming from the wild, sea turtles, ground turtles, crocodiles, snakes, sea snakes, sea birds. The second program that we have, we are involved, we have hatchery. We are working with fish at this moment. In the past, we worked with shrimps. And with the fish, we are working actually at red snapper, a local species around the area. So we are producing millions of fingerlings. And the third program is involved with the aquarium. Our aquarium is quite small, but we are receiving 50,000 Costa Rican mostly, so around the year. So they come in so they can see the species we have there. And also we are working here with schools or people also around the area close to the town.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you
very much.
You're welcome.
Now we're going to head over to Natalia Corrales, who is a curator here at the aquarium. So Natalia is going to show us the rest of the park. What kind of other animals do you have here?
We have sea turtles, we have some pelicans, different kind of fishes. We also have crocodiles and caimans and also turtles. And
okay.
Actually, I have a job for you.
You have a job for me?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Can you help me?
Yeah, I'll help you out. Where's it at? Right over here?
Yeah, right here.
Well, I'm here in the crocodile exhibit, and they've given me the fun task of feeding these guys. So we got a feeding stick with a GoPro on it, and I'm also going to hand feed them some tuna. It's going to be a wild time. The most widespread crocodilian in the New World, the American crocodile, is a fierce and successful hunter. This animal is built for speed and is equipped with many tools for catching prey. The crocodile has incredibly sharp teeth complemented by an insanely strong set of jaws used to grab onto prey and pull it into the water. As if that's not enough, this animal is covered in thick scales called ossified scutes that not only help protect it, but also help the croc blend into its surroundings, making it look just like a log. The American crocodile has salt glands under its tongue, allowing them to thrive in saline conditions. Did you hear that pop? That's the air pressure as they're closing their jaws. They can generate up to 3,000 psi in bite force. And so that popping noise is all that air pressure escaping. Crocodilians in general are beautifully evolved and have undergone little change over the course of hundreds of millions of years. Now, crocodiles boast the strongest bite force of the animal kingdom. And all that pressure is used, like all their muscles are used to close their jaw. It was cool. Crocodiles and alligators are really cool. right, let's do this. These sharks are powerful animals and have a significant amount of muscle which helps propel them through the water. These are nurse sharks and have a downturned mouth that help them feed off the ocean floor. They also have two sensitive barbels by their mouth that help them find their food. In order to track the development of the animal, the shark has to be taken out of the aquarium, weighed, and measured. It is particularly difficult getting a hold of one of these sharks because the water is so murky from the frenzy that the only way to find him is to feel around with my hands. So what I'm doing right now is I'm feeling up underneath the shark to feel the claspers, because that indicates that it's a male, and we need the male for data. The claspers are pretty much used for mating, because sharks have a cloaca, and so they'll use the claspers to stick in the female cloaca so they can just give the sperm to them. If he flips over, we'll have to try to keep him there. Alright, let's throw him on this scale.
Yeah, now it's tired. Suéltalo. Suéltalo.
And then 47.82 kilograms. This is a nurse shark. They live on the bottom of the ocean. They eat a lot of invertebrates and fish hidden in the sand. You can see how their mouth is kind of downturned towards the bottom, and that's what they use to find fish in the sand. Now sharks have these tiny pores all over their face called ampullae of Lorenzini. And what those are is their jelly-filled pores that can detect electromagnetic waves in the water. So if a shark can't see an animal, it could sense it. Literally, it's sixth sense. It could sense its prey, and that's how they find them. So if you're scuba diving with these sharks and you're nervous and your heart's beating a lot, they know, because they can sense that heartbeat through the water, because that gives off the electromagnetic wave. When you're looking at him now, you can kind of see how rough he is. It feels like sandpaper when you touch him, because they have placoid scales. They're actually scales that kind of look like hooks, and they run in reverse. So when you go this way, it's smooth, but if I were to go against it, it would feel rough because of those placoid scales. And a lot of technology and research is going into developing those kind of placoid scales for the bottom of boats, so they resist sessile invertebrates such as barnacles or oysters. 2 meters.
2 meters?
These are the claspers. This is what I was looking for earlier, because this means that it's a male. They got two of the claspers on each side of its cloaca, and then this is how they reproduce. They'll use these to put the sperm into the female's cloaca. All right.
Ready?
Yep, let's get them back in the water. There he goes. What they were doing that for is they were collecting data on the shark so they could determine how much it's growing throughout the year, how much to feed it, and when to release it or move it to a new enclosure. So very, very important for the well-being of the shark. So in addition to the other programs here at the park, they also do animal rehabilitation. And this is a great example. They will receive sea turtles from all around the country and even Nicaragua and Panama. They'll come here, they'll try to rehabilitate them, they'll treat them, they'll take care of them, they'll do whatever they have to do. Some of the animals that they get aren't able to be released, just like this guy. This olive ridley turtle got caught in a fish net and actually restricted his flippers, and so they actually had to amputate. But other animals that do come in here are able to be re-released, because the ultimate goal is to have these animals back in their natural habitat and back in the wild. With all turtles, tortoises, The shell is actually part of their spine and rib cage, and it's actually grown over top as a sort of protection. And it's really unique because no other animal has this sort of thing. What's going on with this particular guy is he had a bacterial infection on top of his shell, and it started eating down into the top layer, and so you could start to see a little bit of a bone. And so what they did is they put some antibiotic cream on it, they put some iodine on it, and they're just trying to wash it out, keep it clean. The bacterial infection is actually starting to go away, and you can see where the bone is being covered up by the top layer of skin from the sea turtle. And so it's actually looking a lot better, but he has to go through these constant checkups to make sure he's getting better. And they're taking the blood test to see how he's doing, and they're also treating him to make sure that the bacterial infection will completely go away. So this sea turtle is a great example of an animal that has been affected greatly by human activity, and is an example of all animals everywhere that are struggling to survive in a world that the humans have destroyed by pollution, habitat destruction, development, and overfishing. These animals are just trying to survive, and by having these places like the Animal Rehabilitation Center and the Marine Park here, it gives these guys a second chance to where they are able to be rescued, they're able to be rehabilitated, and they're able to live on. Sea turtles live a very long life, and if it weren't for the Marine Park, his life would have ended early. But since the Marine Park was here, they were able to amputate his leg, rehabilitate him, treat him, and let him live on in a long, healthy life. I am biologist Justin Grubb, and we are exploring the country of Costa Rica. We are leaving the Marine Park to head back into the wilderness. Our next location is the Wildlife Reserve of Kuru. Here, we will see another type of forest and many different creatures that live there. These forests get their name from the mangrove trees that make up this ecosystem. And these trees are well adapted for life in salt water because the leaves can excrete excess salt from their pores. These mangrove forests provide valuable habitat for tons of different animals like monkeys and birds, but provide a nursery ground for shark pups, small fish, and other aquatic juveniles seeking shelter from the rough sea. We get off the kayaks and head into the tropical dry seasonal forest in search of one of the most productive and tasty organisms found in this area. The dry forests of Costa Rica are susceptible to long periods of drought, and as a response, a number of plants found in this ecosystem drop their leaves during the dry season. Unlike the rainforest, this area is a lot less humid and receives a lot less rain per year. But this area is no less diverse in terms of animals that could be found here. So this is the dry tropical forest. What we just saw was the mangroves. This is dry tropical forest, and it's very different than what we've seen here in Costa Rica because this place is characterized by low humidity, high temperatures, and tons of palm trees everywhere, and lots of coconuts. And a lot of species call the dry forest home, and hopefully we'll get to see some of those guys. White-faced capuchins, howler monkeys, lots of birds, snakes. We're gonna look for them on the rest of this trip, so let's see what we can find. After a long day on the trail, I think I'm ready for a snack. What I'm after right now is one of the most staple foods in the dry forest. Lots of animals eat these, and they're very good for you, packed with protein. And this is what I've been looking for. This is a termite mound. Now inside are thousands of termites. Termites are very, very small, but they're full of protein. A lot of animals eat these, including anteaters, the tamandua anteater, collared anteaters. Capuchin monkeys will also eat these. They'll use sticks to pull them out. And a lot of birds will eat these. And what I hear is they're pretty good for you. They taste a little bit minty and like a combination of mint and bark. It's It's kind of interesting. And they kind of have the aftertaste of carrots. So, minty carrots is what these guys taste like. But they're good for you, full of protein. And what these guys do is they make their nest out of saliva. And all of these termites build the nest. And when you damage it, they'll all come out and they'll start fixing it. So within the hour, this hole will probably be patched up by all of these workers who are trying to fix it. And that's why termites are so easy to get and so easy to eat, because you just break part of the nest and they all come out to try to fix it, and it's just easy picking. So they're good. They're unique. They taste weird, but minty carrots. Just. Well, I'm feeling refreshed, so let's get out of this tree and let's keep moving on. Here in the dry forest, there's an animal that is abundant in this ecosystem and lives an active and very fast-paced life. Probably one of the most well-known animal living in the mangrove and dry forest are these little guys, the white-faced capuchin monkeys. These guys are smart. They're probably one of the most intelligent New World monkeys because they have been observed using tools. They also travel in groups up to 20 individuals and spend most of their day foraging and traveling around the canopy. Now these guys are omnivores, so they'll eat insects, they'll eat fruits, they'll eat leaves, and they'll eat nuts. And so they spend most of their time in the canopies just looking for these types of things. They'll also eat small lizards, and they'll also eat small snakes. If you look at their tail is really cool because it's adapted to wrap around things. It's called a prehensile tail. And so they can wrap their tail around a branch and they can actually hang upside down and forage for food underneath them. They can also grab other monkeys with their tail. So like the mothers will grab the monkey and put it on their back and carry it around. And that is a characteristic only found in New World monkeys. No Old World monkeys have that prehensile tail. Now these guys are incredibly playful. You could see multiple individuals just playing around, and a lot of the young ones seem to be fighting, but that's just all play. They're learning how to interact with one another, they're learning how to use their bodies, and it seems like play. It seems like they're fighting, but they're just playing. They're like coming at me. He's trying to scare me off, you see that? He's trying to impress me. They'll shake branches like that, they'll hop up and down, and they'll try to scare off an intruder. He doesn't look too happy that I'm here right now. This was a really cool find, but I think it's time we move on. I'm gonna listen to them and I'm gonna leave them alone. So let's keep moving. I love these guys. These are leafcutter ants. And what's cool about them is there's so many of them. And their trails will go for hundreds of meters into the rainforest. And you can kind of see this clearing here. That's because they clear all the leaf litter along the trail as they go back to their nest. They don't actually eat the leaves. They bring them back to the nest, chew them up, mix it with saliva, and a fungus grows on it. And they actually eat that fungus. So the leaves are for the fungus, so they kind of farm. Also, they have very, very sharp pinchers to where they can cut vertically down the leaf and pick it up. Now these leaves could be 10 times bigger than the ant is, and they're able to lift them up and carry them a really long way. Fascinating creature, really strong, really amazing, really cool. I'm going to get my rest tonight because in the morning we head to an ecosystem that is entirely different from anything we have seen thus far. After a relaxing night on the coast, we are now continuing our adventure through Costa Rica and headed to our final destination, the cloud forests of Monteverde. I'm here in the high elevation cloud forests of Monteverde at around 4,000 feet, and we're here to see one of the most unique ecosystems in Costa Rica. Cloud forests are an incredibly rare ecosystem that only encompass 1% of the Earth's forest. These ecosystems are only permanently covered in moisture because of the presence of clouds and a slow rate of evaporation due to the lack of exposure to the sun. The temperature in a cloud forest is very cool and could be almost 25 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than the rainforest found at lower elevations. Since the cloud forest is such a delicate ecosystem, it is drastically being affected by global climate change. Scientific climate models predict that the cloud cover will be elevated, which in turn will raise the temperature of these forests and reduce the amount of moisture that exists here. This is bad news for the animals and plants that depend on these weather patterns for survival. As we continue our trek through the cloud forest ecosystem, we spot one of the rarest and most beautiful birds found in this area. This is the male resplendent quetzal.
These guys are incredibly endangered due to things like habitat loss and pollution.
The quetzal can be found at the higher elevation forests of Central America. This particular animal is ready and looking for a mate based on the coloration of his plumage.
So these birds primarily live in mountainous regions. You won't see them in the lowlands. Right now we're at about 4,000 feet, so we're able to see the quetzal. And right now it's avocado season, so a lot of new avocados are growing, and so it's perfect habitat for these birds because that's what they primarily eat.
The quetzal is listed as a threatened animal because of deforestation and competition with humans for the avocado. The population of this animal is declining, but thanks to the parks like Monteverde, these birds are finding a safe haven. Bird boxes that simulate tree cavities are placed around the forest, which allow these animals to breed and produce offspring.
We're going to keep walking around the cloud forest to see what else we can find, but I'm really excited we got to see a quetzal. It was a really cool find. All right, let's keep moving.
Look at this right here. Look at this ficus tree. This is cool. Now, birds and monkeys will eat the ficus and they'll deposit the seeds on top of other trees. And so the seeds will start to develop and the roots will form. And the roots will come down all the way to the ground. So they form over top of a base tree. You could see the base tree right between these roots right here. And after a while, the ficus tree will suffocate out the base tree, and the base tree will start to decay, and you'll get a hollow ficus tree like actually, look at this one right here. This one is actually a better example. This tree is actually a perfect example because all the roots have grown down and there's actually a big hollow tube going right up the middle of this tree. And actually, from what it looks like, we might be able to climb to the top of this tree. I think we should give it a try. All right, right now we're here in the cloud forest at night. So we're gonna go around and see what kind of creatures come out in the midnight forest. Hopefully we'll see some snakes. Hopefully we'll see some sloths. We'll see what we can find here. This is a very fascinating time here in the forest, so let's go take a look. At night, the cloud forest seems to be a completely different place with many nocturnal animals actively searching for food, hanging out, or just plain taking care of business. Another active hunter in the midnight forest is the side-striped palm pit viper, and it uses a powerful venom to immobilize and kill prey. The venom of this snake is some of the most potent venom found in Costa Rica. And when walking through the forest, you'll most likely see the snake in trees, and this is known as an arboreal animal. The pit viper will sit in a coil and wait for animals to climb by, and it'll strike and hold it with its fangs. Characteristic of all pit vipers is it has two large thermoreceptors just below their eyes. They use these pits as a sixth sense and they can find prey hiding in the bush.
Perhaps one of the more unique experiences one could have in the cloud forest at night is the chance to see a sloth mother and her baby climb down to the base of a tree. Since sloths spend all of their time in trees, it is very rare that one will venture all the way down to the base of that tree. This behavior makes them susceptible to predators like jaguars. So why are they doing this? Well, it is to relieve themselves of the digested remains of their staple diet, leaves. The act is brief, and as soon as they are done, they quickly head back up to the tree and into safety.
So that was a great night hike. We saw all kinds of stuff. We saw pit viper, we saw tons of insects, tarantulas. We even got to see the rare opportunity of not just one, but 2 sloths pooping at the base of the tree. A very rare opportunity indeed. Well, I'm getting tired, it's getting late, so I'm gonna head back to camp and I'm gonna go to my hammock. And here we are, the peak of our adventure. We're literally standing on the continental divide of Costa Rica. And this is significant because it was formed by volcanoes and created a bridge between North and South America. So animals colonized that bridge, and that's why this area is so biodiverse. So it looks like this is a great place to wrap up our adventure here in Costa Rica. We've seen some amazing things, from coral reefs to cloud forests and all kinds of animals in between. I hope you had as much fun as I had on this crazy adventure, and I hope you tune in again only on Running Wild.